Peace to the world. We are in the new Black Wall Street. Yes, I said new Black Wall Street inside of Star Status, which is a store that represents athletics and inner me.
Welcome to Star Status store. It is the home of inner me and athletics. Inner me is all about crystals, crystal jewelry. We customize the jewelry in the store if you want us to. We have bracelets, earrings, necklaces, and then with athletics, we have the world's first conscious sportswear brand.
Created sports logos and put it on sports apparel. So you can see right here, we have Mansa Musa on the basketball shorts. We also have the ancient Egyptian Kemetic Herus on football jersey, tackle twill, captain's tag, heavyweight mesh, all quality material, authentic sports apparel. And y'all come see us at the new Black Wall Street Star Status store on Choctaw Street. Peace.
Peace, family. Peace, family. Coming up on May the 28th, Saturn Day, we present to you prophetic memories, remedies, and celestial divinity with our good brother Al-Kibalan 44.
To this day.
All right.
To this day.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And the description for that is the ancestors impede on the minds of those fit to receive a message. The mind is the magnetic field that processes the revelation. And the receiver delivers it as a prophecy. That's a prophetic experience. The prophets of today remain fit by adherence to the laws of the celestial world and the inner world. We're going to explore the mechanics of the physical body, so we naturally adhere to the celestial bodies. This will deem us fit to receive the inevitable prophecies, family. This class for my KT aliens will be on Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, May 28th. Tickets available in the link below on university.com, KTLuniversity.com. You could tap in. The link is in the description. Yes, yes, yes. We are back with another powerful episode. Shout out to my good brother, Al-Kibalan.
To this day.
We was on Clubhouse.
To this day.
Last night, the brother was on Clubhouse going crazy. I'm talking about the brother's information is on levels that I promise you can't clone that type of information. You know what I'm talking about? You could only have downloads and divine intervention in order to tap into that frequency that this brother is on. He was on Clubhouse with Source Guard. If anybody could drop the link from that show last night, if you was in the building, do me that favor. If not, during some type of pause in the show, I'll go and pull it up. But it's almost required listen to anybody, all of the students that are out there who are ready to get downloads, who are ready to tap into some high level information. You know what I'm talking about? That are urgently out there seeking answers and really, really about that life when it comes to this research. I promise you that shit is an upgrade. That show that he did last night. So this class is coming up called Prophetic Remedies and Celestial Divinity. This is going to be number 3 in a series that we've been doing. Shout out to all of my students that are out there. If anybody was in the last class that me and the good brother Al-Kibalan 44 did, please let me know in the chat.
To this day.
Leave a fire emoji.
To this day.
Yeah, put that fire emoji in there. But before we do that, let me go ahead and do the roll call. All right, shout out to everybody in the building. I was just letting them numbers get up. But let's do the roll call. Let's see who's in the building before we begin today. Today we have a powerful show for y'all. So get your notes and pads, get your notebooks and your pens out, or your tablets or whatever it is, because we finna go in tonight. We got some special guests and they're going upstairs. I promise you. You know what I'm talking about? I promise you. Always trying to sell something. All right, blocked. Fuck out of here. Philly is here. Shout out to Philly in the building. All right, salute to Philly. Rome, Georgia's in the building. All right, Philly is also 215. D-Town is in the building. All right, I see you. West Los Angeles is in the building. Salute to you. Okay. Salute to you, brother. Barbados is up in here. All right. Fort Lauderdale's up here. BK is up in here. What up, BK? BK in the building. Lauderdale in the building. Atlanta, Decatur was great in the building.
To this day.
You know what I'm saying? Was
To this
popping.
day.
Tell me how the audio was sounding. Massachusetts up in here. West Side, Vegas. All right. Yeah, where the UFOs be at. North Kakalaka's in this thing, PG's in this thing, Memphis in this thing, Birmingham in this thing, Westside Vegas, KTL, my KTL in Chicago in this thing, South Carolina, Low Country, Gullah Geechee up in this.
To this day.
About 313 in here. You know what I mean? Trinidad in here.
Take a few steps
Yeah.
back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Got it. Virginia is here. I see you, Virginia. I see you, Virginia. St. Louis, stand up. All right. What's good with the STL? I see you. I see you. Okay, the sound is good. That's awesome. Perfect to hear. It's good to hear. It's good to hear. You dig? Yeah, make sure y'all share this video. You know what I'm saying? Don't don't be shy and whatnot. Your man is, I'm a big stepper out here in this world. So share the link. Let them know this is Third Eye Thursday. And we cooking up another classic. I'm talking about. We in the building. And that's what it is. Talk about monkey, huh? I don't know. Nah, I don't know. Maybe not today. We're not gonna talk about that monkey thing. You feel me? We're gonna wait for the 100 monkey theory to kick in. Then we'll talk about it. I'm not giving that no energy, my friend. You know what I mean? Don't fall for that one. Don't fall for that one. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, peace, love, and light to everybody in the building. I greet y'all with peace, love, and light. As we always do, I am willing and I'm affirming that we are all in our best health, mentally, emotionally, socially, economically, financially, spiritually. Okay. And of course, physically, you know what I'm talking about? And if you're not in that state, hopefully by the end of this show, you will be tapped in and your levels will rise up. You know what I mean? We started this at 11:11. Have some grace. Peace for Mississippi. I see you, Mississippi. I see you, Mississippi. Everybody make sure that y'all hit the like buttons. I'm going to come here and do my job. Make sure that y'all do your job. Hit the Cash App. That is our version of Super Chat. That is how you support independent media such as myself. That is how you pay respects, you know what I mean? By feeding the house and whatnot and leaving the tips while we hit you with these motherfucking pearls and these gems and whatnot. So I'm here to do my part. Let's do your part. You know what I mean? Let's make this as a reciprocal thing. So the link for the upcoming lecture that we got called Prophetic Remedies and Celestial Divinity is in the description. We will have a special show mañana on Friday with my good brother Alkebalon 44. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you receive notifications. It's better when it's live. We be on 5 and whatnot. The replays is lit too, but it's definitely better when you live in the building, getting that download in real time. I promise you. Okay. Louisiana's in this building. Of course, let's start this episode by consecrating the memory of the great one, the shining prince El Malik Shabazz. Today is his born day in commemoration. March 19th, May 19th, which is a hood. That's a God body holiday and whatnot. And we will be celebrating his memory, his existence, his name, and what he stood for this weekend in the ATL at the Malcolm X Fest. It's going down in the West End Park starting on Saturday. I don't know what day it starts, but I'll be there Saturday and Sunday, right behind Tassili's on the West End Park, the Malcolm X Fest. If anybody knows, that tends to be the most lit event in the A all summer. Real talk. Been going there for a very, very long time. About 15 years I've been attending and whatnot. And every year that I went, it was magical. Facts. And I'm not here to sell you niggas no tickets and whatnot. Miss it if you want. You know what I'm talking about? Miss it if you want. You miss out on a lot of things in life, it seems. Miss out on that if you want, because it is what it is. If I see you there, it means that you're supposed to be there. Because at the end of the day, this is really about quality of membership and not quantity. If you there, that means that you meant to be there. You're part of history. You know what I'm talking about? Because to be honest with you, and I'm not saying this to sound cocky or nothing, but anything that I missed, it wasn't part of history. You know what I'm talking about? If I missed some shit, it wasn't like, oh damn, you was there and this is part of history that you missed out on. No, when I'm somewhere, then it's part of history. That's how my reality is set up. I don't know about nobody else, but my reality is set up that's where the movies are made. Wherever I'm popping up at, that tends to be where the movies are made. It's a lot of shit. Niggas die every day, and it's a lot of shit going on every day. But if I'm not there and I don't hear about it, whatever. I mean, have fun, knock yourself out. But the Malcolm X Fest, that's the place to be. Juneteenth in Atlanta, if you in the vicinity, that tends to be the place to be as well. There's events that take place in Brooklyn, like Dance Africa, which they call BAM, on Memorial Day weekend. That tends to be the place to be. And also the International Arts Festival, which is the weekend of July the 4th. That tends to be the place to be as well, because the network is the net worth. Quality of membership over quantity. There's some people that you'll see at these festivals that you'll never see again. You'll never see again. There's some people that you see at these festivals in groups and whatnot, and you'll never see that group together again. There's certain goddesses and wizards and whatnot with a certain type of essence. They come flying through. It's almost like a celestial alignment and whatnot. You know what I mean? That Venus pulls up and there's an alignment that you'll never see again. So I'm not here to sell you nothing. Believe you me. It's like a dog whistle, or really a God whistle. Let's flip it around. Dogs respond to dog whistles. Gods respond to the God whistle. It's a different type of frequency. You know what I'm talking about? It's a different type of frequency. It's a different type of frequency. And they pull up when they hear that frequency. When they hear that bell go off, the gods and the goddesses tend to be in the right place at the right time. The earth is but so big. You know what I mean? And they got nigga congregation laws. So it can't be 2 million of us in one place. So it tends to be the right number. The people who's supposed to be there be there. Yeah, remember the Brooklyn Museum once a month? Yeah, those was lit. First Saturdays. Texas in the building. I see you, Texas. Right? When you at the rodeo, you feeling like shit. If niggas is not at the rodeo, then where are they? You know what I'm talking about? This is where it's at. So I'm just very, exuberated and enthusiastic that what they call festival season is kicking off. There's people, especially this city, they need stuff like that because they've been on lockdown for a few years now. I don't think they had it for 2 years straight. So, we need to put some energy into the memory, into the spirit of that warrior scholar, because Black America, not just conscious people, Black America needs that right now. Black America on paper and from the outside looking in, it looks crazy in Black America at the moment. It looks very crazy in Black America at the moment for anybody who is a thinker, right? People who are walking around just ignoring the signs and the symbols and have their heads in the clouds, or they're inebriated and they're high all the time and they're not sober. They just see everything passing by. But anybody with a thinking mind could be like, yo, the past couple of days and the past couple of weeks, the things that have been taking place in what is known as the nigger kingdom is a very stark sign of what's going on. And in the conscious community, especially if you're awake and if you're alert, and if you be sun gazing, and if you're doing the work like you say that you're doing the work, and you're in the astral realm and you're seeing things and you're getting the downloads, you have to say to yourself, yo, we're in a fucking dangerous place right now. We're in a very interesting place, but out of the chaos, of course, comes the order. But Black America is in an extremely dangerous place. Let me explain. The events that took place in Boston, in Buffalo, right? Of course, we know that we've already discussed that this is called what is known as a PSYOPs, right? A psychological operation. They just put a video out on YouTube a few days ago. If anybody saw that video, please respond in the chat room. This video was highlighting the quote unquote the armed services, but the commercial was like a Hollywood trailer. It's a commercial was like a Hollywood trailer, and it was talking about the PSYOPs, or the psychological groups, and they were saying things like they're the ghost in the machine. The shit was crazy. They were saying that they're the ghost in the machine, and they're carrying out psychological operations anywhere that they touch. They control, they said. Anywhere that they touch, they manipulate. This is the quote unquote division of the armed services that deal with psychological operations. I'm going to see in a minute if I have the capabilities of sharing my screen, because this quote unquote, this is what is this, Chrome, right? For some reason, this browser doesn't allow me to share the goddamn screen. And I don't know why, but we're going to figure this out, right? That's why sometimes I have to go on Zoom. Let me see. I'm going to pull up YouTube. All right. Boom. There we go. Sigh. Okay. Let me show you this, y'all. All right. Let me show you this to show you what they dealing with. And fair use and all of that other fly shit. I'm teaching the people right now. Fair use, right? I see you in the building, Dooley. We're going to let the family pull up. But right now, I'm just giving the family a teaching moment, okay? All right. So tell me if y'all can hear the audio. If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him, right? If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Now, we know who is of that description. Look at every second that they're showing you.
The peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wolves hiding nearby, whispering, do or die around me. You say your last good night while I get by.
All the world's a stage.
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
Not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
It's against the enemy's mind. It is words and ideas. Ammunition used by cyber.
It says anything we touch, right? Anything we touch. Hold on, let me play it because I got to pause it every now and then so I don't get flagged.
Target of psychological warfare is against the enemy's mind. It is words and ideas. Ammunition used by
Get in the enemy's minds. Anything we touch is a weapon.
Its mission is to influence the thoughts of the enemy.
We can deceive.
And at the same time,
Is expected and encouraged to study
We can
foreign
persuade.
languages and the social sciences such as history,
We can change.
economics, and sociology. He must have a broad and sympathetic understanding of all phases of human
Inspire.
experience.
Gripping at my skin, the walls of night closing.
Remember I told you about the invisible
this
empire?
force, as an integral part of combat, has now taken on new form.
As I wait to say my last goodbye.
Ghost. So, like I said, this was put out by the army, right? by the 4th PSYOP group. Okay. This is Go Army. This is GoArmyOF.com. So this is not like a fan-made video. This is put out by the government. So I'm just showing you the show. I'm just showing that, right? And you know, my niggas, don't get scared. You know what I'm talking about? Don't start panicking and whatnot. You know, I'm just giving you an idea of how bold and brash certain people are these days, where they're not even hiding the fact that they're carrying out psychological warfare. There's nothing to hide at this point. And what took place in Buffalo is definitely a level of psychological warfare. It's a psyops. One of the things that you can realize, one of the things that I realized by paying attention to what the response was, is that at this point, you know, even with the president not talking about it for like 4 days, even with the fact that nobody's flags were like half raised, even to the fact that nobody said pray for Buffalo. God damn it, Griselda got an album called Pray for Paris, and they on tour, and they wasn't pushing Pray for Buffalo. Nobody said pray for Buffalo. Nobody, there's been no rallies. Nobody changed their profile pages and whatnot. Nobody really responded. The gangsters, right? The same people who we saw a few days ago get taken down in Atlanta, right? They showed you how deep this quote unquote the gang culture is ingrained into our quote unquote into popular culture, right? The same people who got 50 bodies and whatnot, nobody had any type of smoke response. There wasn't no type of aggressiveness. There wasn't no kind of, you know, I wish death on the shooter. None of that took place. There was a level of complacency within quote unquote Black America that made me say, if niggas do not ride when grandmothers get shot on live, then we really are in trouble, because if they won't ride for them, they'll ride for nobody. At this point, if that doesn't elicit any type of, martyrdom, or if nobody really took that shit serious, and the fact that they jumped Freddie Gibbs caught more media attention, right? That story is living longer than the situation that happened out there. There's no answers. You know what I mean? Homie and the dude that got locked up, nobody did anything to him. Yeah, it's looking real sorry in the realms of what is known as the nigga kingdom, where they sold us a blank check of gangsterism and have our people indoctrinated, really believing in a fantasy that never existed, right? So our neighborhoods have been terrorized. The property value of the neighborhoods have plummeted. There have been millions of lives lost. Don't get it fucked up. It's the cell that Young Thug is in right now. Some of the persuasion of his music, some of the persuasion of gang life and gang culture, some of the persuasion of a lot of the low frequencies that they were emitting and responsible for, it put hundreds of thousands of people in those same cells and whatnot, lying on those same concrete slabs. So what the Scorpio full moon or the Scorpio blood moon was showing us was a lot of disparities that really exist for anybody who is a thinker. It doesn't have to be Black people of the nationality of what we call Black, Negro, or colored. I could be a Turk, I could be a Russian, I could be an Asian, I could be from the continent. All kind of people is looking at us like, you niggas is crazy. The weapon that the Buffalo shooter used, that's part of the ritual. Okay, it's the same way in Druid folklore or in their wars and whatnot. They have spears that they carve their quote unquote sigils and stuff on. That weapon that he used that has sigils carved on it, it had names and whatnot. He's edifying the names of other killers and other quote unquote people that are part of his army, and he's carrying out and finishing their work. He's honorable on that side. So he's galvanizing a sleeping army, or what is known as the White Walkers or the Sleepwalkers, and he's making them feel a lot more quote unquote, because they're scared and they're, you know, they're quiet and they're dormant and they're afraid, and you know, they are still seething over what took place with the quote unquote January 6th insurrection. And that ritual right there was actually meant to galvanize that base and rise them back up, wake them back up, and have them tap into a very, very low frequency, right? So at the end of the day, it is what it is. We don't give that too much attention. We point it out. You know, we point it out, we turn the lights on and we show people what it is. But the question that really should be had is what's going on with this culture? What's even going on and what we know as the people who look like us, who surround us every day and whatnot? Like, what's really going on in that culture? There's a lot of narratives going all the way back from Kevin Samuels losing his life in the presence of a stranger who couldn't even contact his own mother. You understand? Highlighting in the shadow of this blood moon, this Scorpio moon that deals with death, highlighting that it's really not about how you it's not about how you start the race, it's really about how you finish it. From where I'm from, it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish it. Did you leave this planet peacefully? Did you leave this planet surrounded by people who love you in a familiar place? Or did you leave this planet around strangers in a strange place? That says a lot about the journey. You will want to make a transition with a smile on your face, surrounded by family members and whatnot. Especially if you're a warrior fighting this war and you put your life on the line, well, you know, there's all kind of things. But even spiritually, when you march forth into war, you become a spiritual warrior and you die for a cause. You don't care if your head is taken on the field and whatnot. You do it with a smile on your face. And that's where power is drawn from. And they've been doing this for millions of years. It's only recently that we've seen a level of cowardice where people are actually afraid to die on all levels. Facts. They're afraid to live. So they're dying horrible deaths. They are afraid to live. They're taking the easy way out. Anytime that you flirt with death for some of the things that people are out here flirting with death for and making their lives so worthless, bro, that's a level of suicide. The pain is so severe that you just putting it all on the line, just wishing that somebody will pull the plug. And that's happening every single day around us. So it started with the Kevin Samuels. It reflected itself when they took down that sex, money, murder, because Scorpio is sex, money, murder. We were in Taurus, that's money, but Scorpio, specifically that moon in retrograde, it was about sex, it was about money, and it was about murder. And you got a lot of that in the past few days. Like Blue Pill was saying, being that it was a retrograde, a lot of the things that we trying to run from and a lot of the things that we're hiding and whatnot that we try to just, gloss over, like the fact that we're living behind enemy lines, that shit resurfaced in our faces. And it showed its fangs. And you can't ashe it away. So that was my dissertation, or that was my rant for the end of, at the end of the day, I had to get that off of my chest because, I'm really looking at where we are as a community and as a collective and as a network. And I'm asking myself, at what point do we say to ourselves, we have to draw a line, close in our ranks, and really begin to absorb the power that we collectively have? You feel what I'm saying? When are we going to count our numbers and say, you know what? I'm going to let the dead bury the dead. I'm going to let shit do what it does. But When are we going to focus on the collective? Because the collective is where the power is at the moment. Of course, it's in the individual, but the power is in the collective. Groupthink, right? People on online social media, they're suffering from groupthink. There's nothing that you can do about it. You see how they set it up. Those neurologists at Facebook and Instagram, the people who study your brain and whatnot, they have it to where the people are following trends on TikTok and everywhere else, and you see it in real time. So groupthink is one thing, but being able to know who you are as an individual and then finding a tribe or a network and then connecting to that network and then drawing the real power from it. Because what Kendrick Lamar's album showed me, and I'm gonna land my plane on this, and then we're gonna open up the floor for our guests for the evening. The Kendrick Lamar album, it was a message that he dropped on Friday, right? It came out on Friday, and then on Saturday was a shooting. And the message was this: you can't save everybody. I'm not your savior. And these niggas will not ride for you. So the best thing that you can do at the end of the day is focus on you, king, your family, work on that trauma and them generational curses. And don't yearn for the type of fame and this fake shit that they keep selling our people as and whatnot, that they should be selling their soul for, or they should be wasting a lot of time and energy and thinking that you're going to save the people and you're sent here to put on a cape and you're going to save the plight of all of these people during the Kali Yuga. That's not what this is about. It's not what this is about. This is about taking care of tribe, taking care of you, and living through example. And by doing that, other people will fall in line because you will be able to set the motherfucking bar high and they'll be able to feed off of your blueprint. You got to save yourself. Because if they're not going to ride for grandmothers, they're not going to ride for you. That's what you saw. If they're not going to do nothing for some grandmothers, your ass is fucking grass. Don't ever think that they're going to do it for you. Stop playing. Stop playing. We're going to waste too much time trying to wake these people up when the amount of people who are waking up are in the millions, and they need to be paid attention to, and they need to be talked to off of fucking camera and whatnot, off the goddamn internet. And they're ready to build. They have the resources. They're getting a little bit tired because the people who should be talking to the people, we so busy trying to talk to these fucking knuckle draggers, wasting our time. You trying to kick it to the shorty that ain't trying to hit you back. You giving up your energy for a group of people who can care less about you and themselves as well. So why are we wasting our time chasing these fucking waterfalls? I would like to know, and pardon my French because there's children in the building. You know what I mean? I'm turning up a little bit. But we're acting like we have 100 years to get this thing together. We are ignoring the people who are crying out, not for help. They just like, yo, let's put something together. I'm ready. But it's like if somebody wants to go out to eat and whatnot, and they're like, yo, I put on my best. I'm ready to go. Pick me up, send a fucking Uber or something. And we keep stalling them. Trying to get with so many, we trying to be polygamous with this shit. We like, hold on, just sit right there. You know what I mean? I know you just did your makeup and everything. Sip on some wine. I'm sending the Uber. And while you telling them that, you outside your window trying to catcall 10 other women when you got you a goddess waiting for you. That's what it looks like when we're doing this attention whore type of thing, throwing all of these nets in the ocean, trying to catch these fish and whatnot. For what reason? I don't know. When we have a whole nation of people that are literally ready to make moves right now. And they're looking for some unity. They're looking for some people to put their egos to the side and come up with one plan. It don't have to be the master plan. They just need to see some action. Okay? They need to see the fucking goalpost. They need to see you kick a few field goals. You don't even got to score a touchdown at the end of the day. They just want to see something. But it's not going to happen through the individual, because as we've seen in this community, when you let that ego run wild, that shit, it mutates into something very disgusting to look at. And we've seen it in too many people in the past few months to ignore it and to act like it ain't what it is. When it's unchecked, it turns into a virus and it will affect others, as it has. There's a demon jumping through a lot of niggas. I'm telling you, it's like falling. So I'm just here to let you know, the great divine speaks through signs. And this last few weeks, it's been really talking to niggas. And we're going into a red summer. And I hope the family don't get caught in these bear traps that the other side or your adversary or what would be considered to be the antagonist and the protagonist story, which would be considered to be just your fear body or something that you are projecting. They're really not even real. It's just some shit that we're not working on internally and within our collective inside of our family, our circles and our networks. You know what I mean? There's some things that we need. There's some fires that need to be taken out. But as long as those fires burn, of course, the other side is going to materialize as your opposition. This shit is a hologram. It always does that. When there's infighting, you know, the rear is opened up and then we get these attacks. And right at this end of the day, they're psychological attacks. And psychological attacks can only be addressed by people who are qualified, not these Facebook, not people with TikTok remedies and people that just pop up on Facebook who are regurgitating information that they probably paid for in their courses and stuff like that. And they run to social media and start masquerading like they got the keys and whatnot. No, we need a collective group of people who are trustworthy, who could come forth and diagnose certain ailments that are taking place, because people at the end of the day are under spiritual warfare. They're underneath spiritual curses, spiritually transmitted diseases. That's what you're seeing taking place. There's possession in these communities. There's possession that's taking place based off of trauma. People are in need of quote unquote remedy, and they're being fleeced by the charlatans. They're being taken advantage of. They're being lied to. They're being spun in circles and whatnot. They're being scammed and spammed. There's all of these clone pages that be catching people. I know one of them caught me one time. I was pissed off. $500. You know what I mean? $500 based off of the trust that I had, because I thought somebody in my inbox was someone that I knew, and I sent them the bread. And it was a clone. So there's all kind of distractions going on. But I'm here to let you know, right? And I'm very happy to say this because it's right on time. It's divine timing and whatnot. There's an event coming up in Atlanta, okay? And we talked about this before, and we're going to talk about it tonight, right? There's an event coming up. Let me go ahead and let you see. Boom. All right, let me see. Give me 1 second. There's an event going on that my good brother Dooley, right, and a group of other talented, qualified, and certified healers, energy workers, right, Reiki specialists, plant-based medicine shamans are going to be conducting a 4-day workshop of sacred sacraments and journeys within for your mind, body, and spirit. This is an interdimensional journey, okay? So I'm going to open up the floor and we're going to welcome them. We're going to welcome them into the building tonight. And we're going to have a very mature conversation about things that are going on. And we're going to revisit what it is that they're going to be bringing to Atlanta this week coming up, or this strong coming up, for all of the family that's out there that are in the surrounding areas. I know we did roll call earlier. So we got people in the Carolinas, all up and down Georgia, even in Florida, you know what I'm talking about? So I'm going to let y'all know what's going on, so you have the opportunity to make your next move your best move. So without any further ado, I want to open up the floor for my good brother Shaman Dooley in the building. Peace. Peace to the God.
Peace to the God. Peace to the God. What's going on? Literally just got in, man, from New
perfect
York.
Timing. Yes, perfect timing. Yes.
Yeah.
Spirit was like, yo, just, you know, be patient. You know, it was telling me the same thing because I just got in from the West End. My brother Blue was doing a podcast with Mama Tassili and the sister that owns the Iwi Spa. Yeah. And the title of the podcast was, I think it was called Stop Fucking Around or some, you know, Stop the Motherfucking Games. You know, it was something, it's a serious conversation because we're in that time. We're going to have uncomfortable conversations. None of that feel good shit. We're going to get to the root of some of these things that are taking place so we could get this train moving. You know what I mean? We're going to prepare to these flat tires.
Right.
So how was New York? How was New York?
Oh, it was good, man. I mean, I'm out there for the family. I'm out there every Wednesday and Thursday in Brooklyn, you know, on Nostrand Ave over there. So yo, it's a good group of people that come through.
Let them know what you out there doing.
You know? Oh yeah, I'm doing all kind of medicine work. I work with the snake venom, you know, so a lot of people go out there to deal with that, you know, and that's just been amazing itself, man. You know what I mean? People dealing with all kind of health issues, people that's been dealing with certain diseases, you know, STDs, all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? Pain stuff. You know, I had a couple of OGs that pulled up. And it was just a good build, yo. You know what I mean? They couple of guys that really put in time, you know what I mean? They you know, came out the joint and was like just sat with the little, you know, it felt, you know, honor to sit with these cats, these older brothers, man, and they just picking my head and, you know, blessing me with their knowledge, man. So it's a good vibe, man. You know what I mean? So you have all kind of people that pull up and come through, you know, and it's been, yeah, man. So and it been a lot of younger folk coming through lately too, and just like, and that's been amazing, you know what I mean? Because they've been sitting down with certain medicines. So I have the rape, which is sacred tobacco medicine, which is good for getting all the phlegm and mucus out of the system. You know, you blow that up. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so you had a couple of younger people came down and sat with it, and they was like, "Oh, what is this?" It's like, "Yo," you know. And then we had the eye drop medicine. We had one dude came through; he had the cataracts. So I was like, "Yo, you might want to try this." You know what I mean? This could help you out with your vision and all that. So helps with glaucoma, cataracts, all that. It's called Sananga. So you know, I was putting the eye drop medicine in everybody's eyes. Yeah, and it's beautiful, bro. You know, the jungle medicine.
Yes, the jungle medicine. Yeah, I mean, the jungle medicine for real. Let them know how they could get in touch with you so they could ask you any further questions about linking up in New York, because we have a large New York family that taps into this show. So just leave, you could put it, can you have access to the chat room?
Oh, shit, let me see if I could put that up in there. Yeah.
Right. Put your email or any way to contact you via IG, DMs and whatnot. Let them know how they can reach out to you, because I'm sure there's some people that want to tap in. I remember you were doing one day in New York. Now it's 2, huh?
Right. Yeah. Shoot, I might have to do that in a second, but
you could tell it to me. I'll write it out. Mm-hmm. Esoterics 9 said prayer is great, but in this day and time, we need action even more. What precedes action? Is it prayer, or do you go to do action and then pray after that? Because I believe that prayer precedes the action. Remember, this is a mental, intellectual, all is mental, right? We're in what is known as intellectual warfare these days. A psychological operation is a psyop, so they're dealing in the mental space or mentalism in a mind. So you have to deal with prayer and meditation before you get into anything physical. I would highly doubt that you'll be able to defeat any enemy who knows how to program their reality in their mental space if you're not in prayer, or if you're not tapping into any type of mentalism before you physically do anything. That's why I don't believe in certain people. No offense. You know what I'm talking about? But you can't try to down prayer, or you can't try to down anybody meditating or tapping into the mental realm before they solve their problems, because that's where the problems are solved.
Right.
And then you carry it out in the physical realm. They say when you have to go to war, and once it gets physical, the war's already been decided. That's why it's called a theater of war. It's already a checkmate already. They've done that in the mental realm. So please continue.
My fault, God. I got cut off.
Nah, you good. I'll write your email for you.
Oh, yeah. Love Mother Earth 33 at gmail.com, or you could get me on Facebook and the Shaman Dooley, and the IG as under Shaman Dooley as well. And yeah, just hit me up, man. And but on Thursdays are one-on-one healings. You know what I mean? So Wednesday is like everybody
the group
congregate, and then you do
individuals, right?
Do their thing.
So it's Love Mother Earth 33.
Yep, at gmail.com.
I got you, King.
And and then on Thursday I do one-on-one healings. You know, I do something called psychic surgery. It was this brother that came up last week from Maryland, came see me with him and his girl, and that was interesting, man. This dude had this uncontrollable like twitching going on with him. You know what I mean? Right. He's like, his head was like, I mean, it was crazy. And that was going on for a week. And his girl was like, took him to the hospital. It was like the doctors couldn't figure out anything that was wrong with him. But you know, I had him sit down. I have one medicine called Shunga, which is like smokable ayahuasca. You know what I mean? So I was sitting down, and we was both going in with the medicine. And you know, I seen something on his auric field that was feeding off of him. You know what I mean? And usually what happens is I start going into a trance where I start downloading certain songs or certain vibrations that could break up certain things. You know what I mean? So basically that song was telling that entity, hey, it's time for you to go. Your parasitic nature gotta be off this. You can't be feeding off of this dude no more. You know, some real Doctor Strange shit. You know what I mean? So it was like being bounced out of the window, and then next thing I know, I got to download like, hey, you know, now there's I have to bring this other part of his spirit back to his body, because it felt like it was a part of his spirit that was fractured. So afterwards, I always have like a check-in at the end of the healing. Like, I want to hear what you experienced on your end. So it's like, so he was like, he's like, when you was doing the chanting thing, he's like, I started growling like an animal. I was like, really? Because I was in the zone. I didn't even peep it. But he was like, you know what I mean? I started growling and all this. And he's like, I felt like it was something inside me. And I was like, it was.
That Kundalini. That suppressed energy, that primal force that we as Black men, we tuck that in. You know what I mean? We tuck that in. We're not able to express that. The European is in the forest growling. You know what I mean? People in the jungle growling and whatnot of other nationalities. You know, the Russians, they with the bears growling and shit. You know what I mean? People tap into their primal nature, right? In different nationality, they have the ability to tap into a primal nature. There's some Africans that run in the Serengeti with the quote unquote wild animals, and they take on their quote unquote qualities and whatnot. They're able to do that. And growl, you know, when they're people own farms and whatnot, they're in the side of the farm with the animals, you know, mimicking those animal noises as well. So I've seen that as well in ceremony on many occasions where, you know, under trance, you'll have individuals either get mounted or they tap into a suppressed quote unquote primal energy that they have within that. Somebody put the netter. You know, we have our spirit totems, we have our animal spirits and whatnot, and we're learning. You know, it's actually indoctrination, and we're afraid of that, and we're shameful, and we be apologizing like, oh, yeah, I didn't mean to do the DMX bark.
Right.
I didn't mean to do the DMX bark or the Pop Smoke growl. But I don't want to keep our other guests waiting long. It's kind of rude of me, and I want to open up the floor for our other dignity, the other dignified guests in the building, so we could all have this panel discussion. And I really just want y'all to go in and just let everybody know within the earshot what can they look forward to in the demonstration that will be coming up, this 4-day demonstration that I really feel my spirit is telling me that I need to be there every single day, because there's a lot of work that I need to do, a lot of tweaking, especially after seeing what I've been seeing in the past few days. I have to prepare for something very much greater, a greater journey. You know what I mean? So without any further ado, I want to open up the floor for the remainder of our guests of the evening. Our good brother, our good sister, who was here a few weeks ago, and both of y'all all of y'all blew it up and whatnot. So I'm sure we're gonna have fun tonight. But let me open up the floor for Sister Adara in the building, and our sister Nikki Morgan in the building. What's good? Peace, Dickie. How you doing?
Peace,
Greetings.
peace.
Welcome back to the platform. Welcome back. Pleasure to have you. Yes, indeed.
Blessed to be here.
Oh man.
Yeah, you was hitting all you hitting everything.
I appreciate that. I do. I really do. I just wanted to when you have these shows are like therapy, because to be honest with you, I'm a social person. I'm what is known as a social butterfly. However, I've been over the years like real selective with how I share my energy and who I share it with and who I share my thoughts with. I will not go outside and just talk loud. I'm not going to be in public transportation just ranting and whatnot. You know how people be on the train and they got their homie with them and they be doing sermons and lectures, and you got your headphones on and you can still hear it. And it's like a lot of anger in that shit. There's emotion in it. You know what I mean? They're projecting and shit like that. Like I'd be like, living in New York, right? I purposely rode the train to train myself the shit not to do in the public, because it's a great measuring rod of what insanity and what mental health and what not and how not to be in the eyes of the public, because we're inside of a boxcar trapped in. You feel me? It's like being inside of a lecture hall. It's like being inside of a room. It's like being inside of a mod and whatnot, a cell block. It's like being inside of a hallway. So I just be watching and I'm like, yeah, I need to be amongst my brethren, my kin, people who understand the lingo, people who can vibrate on the frequency that I'm on and whatnot. So I find refuge in my bi-weekly show, my IG lives and shit like that. As much as I be wanting to dodge the digital world, I have to be honest with myself that there's a balance involved in this. I will never shun what technology has to offer and what technology has provided, and the quote unquote the fact that we're in a day and a time that never existed before.
I think you muted, brother.
Yeah, he got muted for a second.
El Malik Shabazz was having a lot of problems in America during his latter years and whatnot. Just imagine if El Malik, not Malcolm X, not Malcolm Little, he transformed and upgraded and became El Malik Shabazz. Imagine if he was going live before his assassination and he was able to call for help and he was able to get his plans out and he was able to galvanize hundreds of thousands of people. I do not take advantage and I do not talk down on the technology that's in our hands nowadays, because I know the power of it. However, I am a stark opponent to how it's being misused and taken advantage of. And people are not realizing the power in it, because if they did realize the power in it, collectively, we would have formed Voltron by now and knocked a few buildings down. And I don't mean that in a literal term. Of course not. I don't promote any type of, destruction or terrorism of any form. I mean that in a mental state, knocking down the walls of Jericho, knocking down the walls of ignorance, knocking down these walls that are holding back our potential, that are compromised of these systems and what is known as, thought structures, constructs, social constructs, these quote unquote what they call social engineering. Social media is the most current form of a high level of social engineering that we all witnessed in real time. You've seen people getting completely MK Ultra by TikTok and IG and Facebook. Some of us got family members. They used to be mad cool and everything. Now they inboxing you all of the negative. They inboxing you conspiracy theories from like 1985. You're like, come on, I know about Project Bluebeam. That's what I was talking about at the dinner table at Thanksgiving in '03. They be like, no, I'm telling you, this is some new shit. And I'm like, it's old information. Then we have certain friends from high school and college and whatnot. They're online pretending to be a whole different type of person. Then we got people who are online comparing themselves to other people who are online, who are like working theater actors and agents and whatnot, who they this is their life on how to create a narrative and how to create an image and how to create a curated clip for 15 and 20 seconds to make you think that that's really the Matrix. So it's very interesting what we see taking place. But let me land my plane. So how's everything been, Sister Nikki?
Well, I've been here in Atlanta, and this is the 33rd ley line, right? Man. Yes. And so everything that you're saying, I mean, these energies, how they've been coming out, bold, really having to be on our toes. It's been nonstop. Removing entities, working on ourselves, preparing for this event coming up, and recognizing that we are in these times. Yeah, it's been very intense. It's been very intense. It has. Yeah.
Yes, it has. How's the energy in Atlanta to you? I just got back here a few months ago and whatnot. I was here in 2020 during what is known as the right around the time of George Floyd's uprising. Surprisingly, I came out here 2 weeks prior to that eruption, and then I went to Miami and we had some breakthroughs on the beach and whatnot. It was me, Blue, Bashir, 19 Keys, and a few other people, but those were the main that went there. And then right after that, I went to Texas to do a lecture, and I got back, and the George Floyd situation happened. I remember it clearly on Memorial Day, right? So when I came to Atlanta, it was electrified. There was an energy that I had not felt when I was on lockdown, and I yearned to be inside of that quote unquote, that energy, that grid. I wanted to be charged up by it because it was very promising. When I got back out here, however, in 2022, the energy somewhat has shifted. So I've noticed it. I want to know how you feel the energy is in the ATL.
Well, what I've been experiencing has been, for real, like the parasites, the entities are bold. They really test. Like usually, I travel a lot and they'll run. They will run. But here, right, they want to be in your face. They want to test in all the ways. And so fortification has been really necessary.
Right.
What else have I been noticing? The galactics have been coming out and in support of us. Big time.
Big time.
The indigenous lineages here, they have been awakening and speaking loudly. And
yes.
and you don't need to be under any medicine. No.
Right. You could hear it.
Hear it. See
I'm near the trails.
Yes.
So I get it. I feel it very heavily. I could walk into a whole forest of an original Indian trail and mountains around it too. So it's strong, very strong.
Yep. And they talking and they asking and they saying. And recently, it's so necessary for us to care for ourselves while we're moving through this in a deep, deep way. I was feeling fatigued because of all of what was moving through, and so I took myself to get some work done.
Yes.
And during the time that I was doing that, there was a very popular, very well-known Baba that is in this area, and he was violently killed.
I heard about that. Ashe. Yes, I heard about that. That troubled me when I read about that.
These are things that don't
happen.
No, they
Thank
live
you.
till they live till old age,
Right.
violently, and it was by young boys, right?
Right.
So whatever vessel is most available is where they will jump in.
Right. I want to tap into that real quick. Thank you for even saying that about being walk-ins, and that these entities are coming through the vessels that are most susceptible to be walked through. The young boys are on opiates and they're tapping into chemicals, unlike how we're tapping into the plant medicine, and we'll go as far as like the DMT and the toad and whatnot. They're tapping into the lean, the Xanny, the fentanyl. They got super gremlins taking the fentanyls and surviving that shit. So when they're on the lean and they're in a slow state and whatnot, and then when they're on these bars and whatnot and they're being taken over, the entities are able to walk through the youth easier than they may be able to walk through other people. That's why you see thrill kills, carjackings, and a lot of heinousness at the hands of some of these young people. And you're like, damn, how could they carry out something like that? It's because of the low frequency music and whatnot. It's because of the low frequency. The drugs are chemicals. They're not plant-based. They are strictly chemicalized. They're opiates, and they're opening up portals in them. I'm telling you, I see it in their faces. You feel me? I see it in their face. So I'm like, yo, they're being compromised off of these quote unquote barbiturates and the pharmacopoeia that they had no idea what the side effects to it is. We could throw in a GMO, we could throw the Molly and the perks, we could throw some of these quote unquote ecstasy and whatnot. We could throw in the aspect that even under the influence, you put yourself into certain type of places like these clubs, like these quote unquote underground. They got these sex clubs out here where they doing mad orgies and whatnot. They're having these sex parties. They're having these orgies and whatnot. They're having these where people are basically tapping in from trisexuals and things of that nature. They're having these inside of the gangs and whatnot. A lot of the gangs are tapping into EFAR and whatnot, but they're taking it to a darker level and whatnot because they're using it to, shield them from some of the wickedness that they're doing. So they're a little bit on the edge. They're willing to go a little bit off the edge. And because they're experimenting with these mind altering drugs, not the shrooms, not the toad and whatnot, not for healing modalities, not the ayahuasca, not to say that I want to heal from the trauma of child abuse. I want to heal from the trauma of losing my loved ones and my friends and whatnot, PTSD, not to say that I want to heal from, being in group homes, the neglect, not from the trauma. What they want to do is numb themselves, and by numbing themselves, they're taking it to a place where they're so numb that they're becoming walkthroughs and they're being taken over. And let's not talk about the shorties and whatnot who are involved with these people who have these entities, and they're involved with them sexually, and what that's doing to them, and how they're being susceptible to being quote unquote traumatized and whatnot. They're being fractured and things of that nature because of the heinousness of the way that they're not being anti-love. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to be vulgar, but there's anti-love taking place, and they're being susceptible to picking up on the energies of some of these, these entities as well.
It's very true what you say, Red Man, because I've been, you know, I do a lot of exorcisms too, because basically that's what happened with the brother that I was showing you was from Maryland. It was exorcism, and most people. That's why a lot of these people that is jumping on this woke shit. You have to start with a foundation, and no one has a stable foundation. You know what I mean? And a foundation is very important. You know what I mean? For me, like one of my teachers is Dr. Wayne Chandler, and I'm so happy to see that
Shout
brother
out to the
Rich
elder
had
master teacher.
on
Yeah,
his
Rich is
platform.
doing something with him Saturday, a workshop.
Yeah, I
Well
signed
needed.
up for it. I talked to Dr. Wayne the other day, and we was just building about, you know, I was talking to him. I was like, yeah, man, I'm glad you put on there about that situation where you got hit by that car. And he put a dent in the car, bro. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Dude, you know, fell, you know, got hit, landed right on his feet like a G. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And like the thing is that people don't understand that when you have a fortified auric field, first of all, those things can't get in you. You know what I mean? You have to, it's constant cleansing you have to do. And doing this type of work, I have realized that, like, you know, you have to constantly be taking those spiritual baths, constantly have those mantras on your lips, constantly doing that inner chi cultivation work is highly important because I'll just give you another example. One of my other teachers, Baba Kalindi, you know, he ancestor now. You know what I mean? I was listening, I was listening to this old interview that this cat was talking to him, and this dude shot Baba Kalindi in the head. You know what I mean? And the bullet didn't go through. You know what I mean? It was like this dude phased out of reality, phased back in, and the bullet didn't go through the elder's head at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can
So
see it.
it's like we got superpower shit, but you got to cleanse yourself out first. You know what I mean? It's like I tell my students a lot. I like anime, right? It's an old school animation called Akira. I don't know if people seen that movie, but
Akira?
it's a classic. Akira.
Yeah,
It's a
with the
classic.
motorcycle on the cover.
Yeah, it's a classic. But
Classic, super classic.
if you peep, this whole steez is multi-layered, that film. But the premises of it is this dude who's a herb dog. He would get trumped by all his peers and all that. And when he finally do step in power, he goes totally ham with it. You know what I mean? Because he didn't have this stable foundation of first
Right.
cleansing out all that pain, cleansing out all that stuff that he was holding on to. So if you hear about these people that are going into these powerful systems, but yet their desires and stuff have not been checked, so now they running wild with it, you know. But my thing is this: is like if you don't have a stable foundation, like even in meditation, you don't even know what your thoughts are. You know, I had to learn that in my early teens, where I realized that I couldn't just smoke weed with in anybody. You know what I mean? Because I'm picking up their spirits or picking up their thoughts and shit. And at one point, I'm thinking, damn, am I thinking this type of shit? And then I realized it's like, nah, this ain't me. I'm picking up homies joint to what's going on with him over there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just being mindful of your essence is important, because first of all, people don't even know their own essence, so therefore they're susceptible to all kinds of things that jump in them. But the key is being able to have a spiritual practice that you do every day. I've been rocking with Tai Chi and Qigong for almost 26 years now, and I tell you, there's levels to this. You know what I mean? It's not an overnight thing. You know what I mean? And it takes commitment and dedication to refine yourself, because this is a refinement process, you know. But people just want to jump on these things in a lot of ways just for power. You know what I mean? I know a lot of cats that are into the arts, man, that just get into it because they still have their street mentality of doing their thing, and they don't, you know what I mean? That's their choice, but there's consequences that come with these things. You know what I mean? So this is an important conversation, man, because it's like what type
Very
of
much.
you know, what is really, you know, what kind of contracts are you making? You know what I mean? With unknown forces that you don't even are aware of, man. And you being played like a puppet. And next, you know, I have a homie that's in jail right now that did some shit, crazy stuff on the train one day, man. And it was totally out of his character. And everybody in the community is like, yo, what happened to dude? But before last day I seen him, I was about to head out to New York. He's like, yo, I feel like these negative forces is on me, bro. Can you get one of those necklaces from Uncle Hank for me, man? I was like, yo, I got you when I come back. Next thing I know, he's locked up. You know what I mean? And I knew it was because he was being played by some lower dimensional beings. You know what I mean? And when you in front of that judge, you ain't gonna understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
ain't gonna be like, yo, I was possessed, bro.
Right. There's at least 4 people in this community that in the past, year? Prominent names, prominent teachers and whatnot, at least 4 of them with the same type of charges. You understand? That speak to some type of possession or some type of compromising that may have taken place, because what people tend to say is, damn, I didn't know that brother had, damn, that's weird. Brother just switched up. The brother, or there's other conversations of, damn, the brother looks like he's possessed. You know what I'm saying? The brother went from one type of mentality or mind state. Now he's on some other type of mind state. It's not like him, right? So once again, people are on the internet, and people are also taking they're doing recreational hallucinogens. They're utilizing plant-based medicine and whatnot that should be done ceremoniously, recreational wise, and they're not practicing moderation. I know people who are trying to catch up to you. I know rappers that are trying to catch up to Kambada. I know people are trying to catch up to Hank, and they're almost the equivalent of overdosing on these quote unquote drugs or this medicine and whatnot, in order to say, yo, I want to speed up. I'm the heroic dose is what, 5 grams? I'm doing 15. Right, with no moderation, with no shamans and whatnot, simply wanted to emulate, and being because they're trapped into the social media mentality or the model that they're laying out and whatnot, the social engineering from social media. They're not utilizing social networking. So the difference between social media and social networking is that in the network, you are in quote unquote class, you're a student. There's some type of hierarchy. There's some type of quote unquote, you have to pass certain courses. There's some type of levels of qualifying. There's membership only. Like a person to be like, you can't join my Discord unless you pass this quote unquote assessment test. Or the levels of this Discord, or the levels of this organization is fraternal order, or the levels of this quote unquote Facebook private group and whatnot. But on social media, you're in a world where everybody, there's an algorithm controlling your reality. There's an algorithm controlling who you have access to and who sees you in the quote unquote the stream of consciousness, basically your food stream, right? Which you're being fed every day. There is an intelligence or artificial intelligence that's controlling that, right? Sort of like steering a cow to the slaughterhouse, so they can manipulate your quote unquote your information intake. They could drive you crazy. They could put you in a depressive state. They could put a lot of violence in front of you, ratchetness in front of you, low frequencies in front of you, a lot of fucking memes and jokes in front of you, when before you was receiving a steady stream of healthy information, what would be akin to the clean water and the glass water test. I promise you, right? Except they have us in a septic tank. And it's mad distraction is what they call in in this social media jargon, white noise. So the white noise, you don't have white noise on Discord. You don't have white noise on concentrated areas where it's membership only. That's why the new model that I'm running with, that I'm picking up on, starting now, to be honest with you, is membership based. I don't want to do any more lectures, especially based off of what I'm seeing, how people are so finicky, where every time that I do a lecture, I got to figure out who's coming and who heard about it and who's finna pull up. I don't want to meet new people for the rest of my life. I would rather lock in with a group of people who says that they down with the information and they're proactive and we're building something. I'd rather meet with you every other week for a whole year, right? Than to every month I'm meeting a new group of people, but nobody is sticking around to do the work. You can't build like that. Right. That's not foundational. You would fare better with members only, quality of membership, a group of people who are dedicated the same way as if we were in what is known as a union. You pay union fees and you show up to union meetings and you have to be there to vote. If we don't have that, I'm not signing up for nothing. I'm not in it. I'm not just my presence at the end of the day. I'm making special appearances. You dig what I'm saying? I just can't be showing up anywhere because at the end of the day, I know my worth. I know what my time means, and it's not even worth it, bro. People are not serious enough. They're not serious. We're not going to be able to build like that. We have to have a commitment for at least 6 months to a year from our members to lock it down and lock ranks. You can't come in here without a membership card, sir, ma'am. Or if you come in here, you got to leave at a certain hour because this is members only. We're not talking. Once the cameras go off, we have the real conversations. You won't even know about our brainstorming sessions. You won't know about the calendar, what's coming up. We're not putting that in the public. We're keeping that in the private, because in the private is where the power is. In the unseen, behind the veil is where the power is, not on Front Street. Okay. And we've been shooting our load, we've been pitching pearls, and we've been exhausting ourselves in public spaces. And this shit remember what's the strainer that they used to put the spaghetti in, and all of the water just goes through it? Right. The calendar. That's what this shit is. It's a boat. It's the Black Star liner with all of those holes in it. Peace, Sister Dara. Yes, your mic is open. How you doing today? I'm great. Highly favored. We can't hear you that clear. Maybe the microphone is far away from you.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
So yeah, I was Can you hear me any better now?
Yes, I can. That's a lot better.
All right. Okay. So what I was going to say is you don't have a hard time finding people to come in the ranks, and the reason why there's too much intellectualization.
It is
that left brain stuff. It don't hit you hard enough to make you really do anything. It just gives you something to think about. You see what I'm saying? You have to get them with something that they can't deny. Like when people do terroristic attacks, they're speaking in a language that hits them in the heart, and they hit them with the spirit, and they hit them in their body, and they hit them with duty, and they hit them with protection, and everything that really is going to get into your heart to make you actually feel like something's worth fighting for, or something's worth consistent for.
Right, and that's why they say that they're carrying out. Yes, but he's co-signing that. That's why when they carry out that mission, they say they're spiritually what? They're under a spiritual spell. They're doing this for the spiritual warfare, and they say that we are going. I'm giving up the husk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So because of the programming of individualism that has quote unquote soured our community and poisoned the minds of people, it wasn't like that prior to the rise of social engineering. It didn't start with social media, but it was definitely enhanced. So individualism is something that America or Northwest America, the United States of America, we suffer from that more than any other country that would be considered a superpower that you could basically make case studies for. Those countries like China, especially, right? And other countries that tend to rise up in power, Dubai, the middle, certain countries in the Middle East, especially China, they are not functioning with an individual mentality. They are moving as a collective. They are individuals who know how to come together like ants. There's a video that I just put on my page earlier today that showed the Amish building a farm in less than 24 hours. It looked, they had it on speed up. It looked like ants, I promise you. It looked like ants building a colony the way that they do.
Absolutely. And you know, like that's what happens when you work for something greater than you. So the whole goal over here in the West right now is getting everybody to rely on their own thinking. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like everybody, I mean, religion. We all know religion is being used as like slaves and the rest. But at the course of it, it's enough to have a way of thinking. It gives you rules and whatever. It gives you some kind of code to live by, right? So when people have totally said no to any type of code, everybody's relying on their own thinking, and nobody has no answers. So we got a bunch of confused people out here with nothing to look for direction, and now they're frustrated and lost because there's nobody that can help them, and so they have to numb themselves, right?
Right.
That's the other test. We want you
Right.
not to feel, because if you don't listen to your body and you don't feel, you won't get the real answers. If we keep
Right.
you social media, keep you with electronics and all this EMF frequencies, your brain can't work. You can't get on information in. All your chakras is blocked. All your everything is blocked. And now we got you. Now we got you. You see
Now
what I'm
we
saying?
got you.
And we can get you to believe anything we want you to believe, because you don't know what to believe, because you have nothing to base it on, because you believe in
Right.
some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're not standing, you don't even believe your teachers. You're
Yeah.
doubtful of the information that you received that was even proven to be right and exact.
Yeah.
You're
So you can't even trust
right.
yourself. So who you gonna trust? You can't trust yourself.
Yes, and you're willing to be like, you know what? I think Dateline could debunk my master teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm waiting for a report to come out from 60 Minutes from Dan Rathers might be able to debunk the shit that I've been standing on, that my parents were standing on, and my parents were standing on. You know, that's how finicky they got the people right now, that they'll let Dan Rather debunk shit and believe him. They're tapped into Tucker Carlson. There's people that are diving into Alex Jones material. There's people that are swearing by these niggas were swearing by Annan, Q Annan. I didn't forget.
To this day. To this day.
I did not forget. That's why the weed got so much GMO, because they be wanting us to forget the effery. They be wanting us to forget that we saw certain things in real time. It was so unbelievable that we had to bury that shit. We was like, I need to forget this. I went to unsee what I just saw. I don't believe it.
It's real.
So
real. They were doing that on mid. They weren't even doing this on this loud stuff we got now. They were just doing that on mid.
On a mid.
With the real
the individualism is setting up people to self-sabotage and also to sabotage anything that they see take off that they don't have leadership in, or a vested interest in. They will jump in front of that plane. They will do that. So the call to close the ranks, the call to begin to draw back, the call for quality of membership is something that I'm going to be standing on very loudly. You know what I mean? I'm going to stand on that very firmly at the end of the day, because it's about quality of membership. It's not about quantity. It could be 4 of us. It really doesn't matter to me. But I need to get my power back. I have to begin to pull my power back, because I spread myself so thin amongst the people who are basically, just pulling on me constantly.
That's
me?
That's beautiful. Like that's really one of the reasons why we're having this thing, because like people think it's just for the people. It's for the healers and for the teachers and for the leaders in the community. Like we need to be fed back into. You see what I'm saying? Like where do you go to get, like you said, fed back into? Like after you've been doing all this stuff, like where?
I'm at Wadada's like, yo, what's the special for today? I'm looking for something to feed me, you know what I mean, to pour back into me. And that's a quest. That's almost like a spirit quest. You got to go in the woods and look deep, my genius, to find it, because it's not on the surface. It's hidden somewhere. It's really like, it's really on a hero's journey. It's like Lord of the Rings type of shit. You would think that the way that you send out this, because this is all a cycle, this is all a circle. So case in point, Brother Dooley, people know you that you don't know. You do a video on the internet that's dealing with breathing and whatnot and movements and things of that nature, and you put it out there, right? And you go back and live your life and whatnot. You going amongst your journey. You just doing what you doing with your family. You just traveling in New York and handling your business when you're asleep at night. There's a video of you, a clip of you that represents your likeness, your voice, your DNA and everything. Is actually doing some type of work, a version of like psychic Reiki on people. Right? You wind up saving someone's life by them following the steps that you put forth, right? They never get to see you throughout life, even though by you saving their lives improve greatly and whatnot. And they even have the type of resources that somebody such as you can utilize in order to take your information further. Let's say that they're a Hollywood director. Let's say that they have facilities and whatnot. They have their real estate developers that have access to commercial real estate, buildings where you could be spreading your word and your teachings and saving other people and whatnot. Let's say that they are in charge of 501c3s, or they're in charge of budgets that are 6 and 7 figures and whatnot. Until they physically run into you, the loop has never completed itself. Until the people who know you that you don't know get to meet you, the fucking thing, the circle is still going. You have to complete that circle for a person to be like, oh, I'm glad that I finally met you. Now the cipher is complete because I know you, but you don't know me. You don't know what I have to offer. You don't know the gifts that I have to give you. You don't know the doors that I have to open for you because you've opened doors for me. Ever since my journey, since I started this community, everybody that I meet, millions of people meet them with me. And I'm on such a mission and I'm on such a journey that when we started Blog Talk Radio in 2009, me and Blue Pill, we've been running into new groups of people every 2 weeks. We don't have time to sit down with anybody for more than 2 or 3 weeks. I've never built with nobody for a month straight, damn near. Because we're moving on to newer groups of people. But those newer groups of people, millions of people are meeting them with us. Because we're putting them on the internet, we're putting them on our radio show, we're putting them on YouTube, we're putting them on Know the Ledge, we're putting them on Melanin Monday, Third Eye Thursdays. So I'm just expanding, right? It's a numerics game. If I started out with 5,000 friends on Facebook, those 5,000 friends got exposed to master teachers, masters of all type of schools of thought and knowledge, but those people took those people to other people. It's just been growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. It doesn't take me more. There's 2 weeks have not gone by in my life ever since my divine spark, ever since my lights got turned on. 2 weeks have not gone by where I have not met a master in some walk of life. Even if it was a Daniel's son and he turned into a master, and then by me, and I don't meet people in private. A lot of this is in the public. We go live. We film on YouTube. You know, there's all of these meetings that are taking place, and people around the world have told me through my travels, yo, I would have never known about that person if you didn't show them to me. I would have never known about that person if they didn't come on your show. I wouldn't have known about that person if you didn't say their names, because I make sure I call the names of the master teachers and the elders that are not here, that a lot of people want you to forget about because they're feasting and feeding off of their energy, their light, their research, their everything. They're cloned. They have cloned our teachers, especially the ones that are not here anymore. Please understand. The newer generations, it's Attack of the Clones. The same way that they're cloning your page on IG, the same way that they're doing the scammers are cloning the pages. There are students out here and charlatans that are cloning the master teachers and running what they call in their name.
To this day,
I promise you. There's people out here that have cloned Delbert Blair that will not say his name. There's people out here that have cloned Dr. Sebi that will not say his name. You dig what I'm saying? They will regurgitate his teachings and his talking points and his science and whatnot. It's, you know, some of his greatest hits. They will not pay homage and mention his name. That is a curse, and that is an abomination in all African cultures, my friends. Okay?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I actually have to hop off. I have a plant ceremony I have to do.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. It was a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you. It was a pleasure having you. Can you let the family know what they have to look forward to on May the 24th to the 28th when they pull up to see you in Atlanta, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Adara Moselle. I'm a tantric shaman, energy worker, consciousness explorer, all of those things. Teach sensuality, remove entities like my people here. Obviously, I'm a shaman as well because I'm about to do a plant ceremony as we speak. But I'll be handling the bliss medicine, the love medicine, the joy medicine. Knows the power that I'm somebody use themselves like somebody like the moment.
Can't hear you that good. I'm sorry. The audio's going out.
Oh man.
There you go. You good now.
Good now.
Yes.
See how they do. But yeah, what I was saying was that the lack of love is a source for all our pain right now. Period.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like using a child, cutting somebody off, and like trying to shoot them. Like all of this stuff is causing broken hearts and all this other shit because we're totally out of connection with our real selves, which is the
Right.
goal, right? And so what I'm going to be doing specifically Wednesday at 6 p.m. He's so tired. I'm sorry, guys.
It's
Wednesday
all
at
good.
6 p.m. I'm gonna be doing a bliss ceremony, and I'm gonna be tapping into the deepest part of your heart, and not just your physical
Beautiful.
heart, but like on all of your body.
Beautiful. I'm Sister Dara. My spirit is telling me I gotta let you take care of the young God. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm
you
sure
getting
Sister
dope over
Nikki
here.
could probably just tap in or duly what it is that you can bring to the
Yeah.
table. But I
Thank you.
want you to take care of the young God, love and light, and we will
Yeah,
see you
absolutely.
in the A.
Yeah,
Shout out to the young king and whatnot.
and people can find me on IG. You can see all
Yeah,
my work. I go live often, and on my YouTube channel, Super Dope Chi. Y'all see me.
No
Y'all see
doubt.
me. It's a pleasure,
Love
y'all.
and
Y'all.
light. Salute. Indeed. All right. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah, Adara is doing a bliss ceremony that's going to be happening on the Wednesday at 8 p.m. Part of our week, and as she said, she is a tantric shaman, and one of her gifts is being able to utilize her chi, her pranic energy, and she aims to open the heart. She aims to open the heart in such a way because the heart is quantum. While the mental space may come out of your mind about 3 feet, the heart is infinite. So if you're able, so if we understand the mirror, and as Red, you mentioned, we run into these things, and we realize that that it's just a part of ourselves that we never dealt with, right? Um, what we're doing is, when you are able to see the mirror and feel
Yes.
that tension or whatever it is that you're dealing with, it's the body's ask to understand more of itself. So as it asks more of itself, the heart will open quantum. So if you have a mirror that can view you in quantum space, then you can be able to understand this primordial oneness in a visceral way. And these
Yes.
bodies is what we use to navigate this infinite right here. So if these bodies are riddled with patterns, if these bodies are riddled with trauma, if these bodies are riddled with things that keep them outside of their presence, then that mirror will not be able to be engaged fully. And we can look
Mm.
at it in an ethereal way. We can also look at it as it's literally mirror neurons of your brain, right? And so those mirror neurons are damaged when you're having these traumas. That's why it's so imperative that when we say care for ourselves, we don't just mean like make sure you get your massage and all these things. Make sure you do your plant medicine, but you have to do your integration work. You have to be able to
Right.
be aware that, you know what, these are my emotions. I'm gonna have to deal with these, and it's not always easy to have these discussions,
Yes.
because as much as we're talking about shut it down, and I'm with you. I feel actually the June July conversations, especially what's going on with the world, with the World Health Organization and other things that are happening. Yes, that shut it down is going to be even more imperative around that time when the summer starts spinning up. But what's also happening is, we with this individualism, we perceive individual as individual, and so we say you got to be out, and you don't recognize that it's all a part. It's sewn in so deeply. It's liminal. So we have to deal with things like incest in the family that we don't want to talk about.
Right.
We don't want to talk about that. You know what? I can't even look at myself in the mirror. Like these are things that are so deeply embedded that what are you locking out? What are
Right.
you actually locking out? So I I ask the question, and I always pose it, you know, what is success for you?
Right.
What is justice for you? What could, especially coming into a world where, we've come from a place, this old paradigm where justice is really just different faces of revenge.
Yeah, eye for eye, Harambe code.
Yeah. And the thing is that quantum love is all consuming.
Right.
It's
All
sovereign,
consuming.
all
Right.
consuming. So even when we are removing these entities, I'm gonna ask you, okay, where did you come from? Why are you here? Who created you?
Right.
Have you completed your job? I know that you're enjoying yourself right now, but you are done, and there's an order to things, and so make your way. It's all us. It's all us, and it's uncomfortable, but
Right.
we must stretch ourselves in such a way that when we stretch ourselves, there won't be a conversation of what walls we need to put up, but rather we are able to see and put the order in things because we are walking in our sovereignty. And I know it's really difficult because of all of like the faces. I know, like, if you look up my social media, there's a certain thing, there's a certain, but you won't even know 10% of what I am.
Right.
So I love that you said to close that cycle, and the relationship is what's going to anchor this new earth.
And going back to what I was speaking on earlier about what the last few days have shown me, how the universe is screaming exactly what you said about the uncomfortable conversation and a deeper work. We were actually able to receive that as a gift from an artist that many of us respect for being trustworthy to deliver a message, right? Because he has been the savior in terms of the frequency of music, which is a high frequency, right? And the musician being the quote unquote the law of the land, right? Especially for our culture. Kendrick Lamar's album did what? It spoke to what? Family incest. It spoke to self-worth. Right. It spoke to mental health. It spoke to forgiveness. It spoke to lust demons and whatnot, being able to conquer them. It spoke to infidelity. It spoke to him with generational curses and what he was doing to get over them. He was talking about he was in the mountains and whatnot. It spoke to doing what? Closing down and not realizing, the scene in the Matrix where Neo had to choose Trinity over who? Zion, right? Can't please everybody. I'm not your savior. I can't please everybody. That's the scene where he chose Trinity over Zion. Choosing family over the facade of a community that is not going to ride for you. They're not going to do for you. They're not going to be there when you take your last breath and whatnot. They're not going to handle you, treat you, and maintain your legacy the way that your family members or people who love you, who know you, will. And you're under the impression that these people are going to hold you up and they want to see you on a cross. That's all they want to see is a sacrifice. Facts. And there's people who put their lives on the line and they took victims and made them martyrs. Our community doesn't even say their names. I promise you. And there's three of them. There's three of them in the past 4, 5, or 6 years that gave their lives up and created martyrs out of victims. And if anybody understands how powerful that is in the pantheon of ancestors and in the spirit realm, then you will realize that we're doing ourselves a disservice because we don't say the name of Gavin Long, Mika Johnson, or the brother Ishmael. what was his name, his last name. But those were the ones who basically they did the proverbial of eye for eye, right? In this quote unquote low level Kali Yuga type of warfare that we're going through, where they took the lives of our people and put them in front of us as victims, and we have to turn them into saints. We have to turn them into martyrs, and we have to be able to willing to be sacrificing something to be like, nah, these ain't no victims. So Gavin, Alton Sterling is not a victim anymore. He's been they put in, they consecrated his spirit and made him a martyr. Trayvon Martin got martyred. There's a few of them. So imagine somebody sitting back saying, you know what? I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. I have a warrior spirit. And I'm not playing any fucking games, and I'm willing to put it on a line as a real warrior, because there's warriors out here that's putting it on a line for Little Dirk and them, for King Von, for Young Thug, for YSL. They was people that was like, I put my life on the line for them. I'm avenging the dead homies that they have tatted on their necks. They're not going to be a victim. They won't take us serious in the city if my man's in them is still victims and they not martyrs. Facts.
To this day.
So they have to drill.
To this day.
That's the whole foundation of what is called drill rap. That's the whole foundation of drill culture, is that we're martyrdoming the people who you victimized, you took from us. That was my uncle, my brother, or my cousin, and I can't wear their tattoo, or I'm going to memorialize them with a tattoo on my body, ink in my body. I'm going to scar my tissue for them, but I'm also going to avenge them like we in kung fu movies. Like this is what the Osarian myth, where Heru does what? He avenges his father's death. And they took that story and they gave it to you in Westerns, and they gave it to you in the karate films, and they're giving it to you in drill music. It's the same fucking story, okay? And our people that claim to be gangsters and tough and whatnot on the black side, we're not doing that. That's the only people that are not doing that, okay? And they're disgracing the memories, because look, this is, even though I do highly agree with tapping into higher frequencies, and but I know on Malkuth, on this plane of existence that we're on, and this dualistic quote unquote reality that we exist in, where there's male and female, left and right. Yeah, there's also a quantum reality, but we're in a binary prison planet where duality, where we've come down and we've been split in half. We have genders now. We don't have genders as sentient light beings. We don't have genders. We don't have races. There's no male and female on the higher realms. We got split in half, and we're searching for our other half on this journey and whatnot. There's no left hand, right hand. There's no good and bad on the higher realms. All of this dualism and this binary and the polarities and whatnot, that only exists down here. That's part of the construct.
Yeah, this is we called all this on ourselves, you know what I mean? And like, when you do have a taste of those higher realms, you won't be the same person. And it's kind of hard to integrate that sometimes back into flesh, because it's a beautiful, very blissful experience. I remember the first time I had Bufo myself.
Man, you read my mind, King. You read my mind. Look at you, because I was about to say that's the closest I got to that.
Yeah, it was in Staten Island, and I remember I had a rebirth. A level of going into singularity, and from that experience, being in the mind of God or Goddess or whatever we want to call it, it was like, yeah, I'm everything. I'm the crackhead. I'm the killer. I'm everything. And what I got from it was that it's learning through us, because we are it. You know what I mean? So it was like coming from this place.
Right.
Yeah, it's coming from this
Spirits
place
having a
of
human experience.
Yeah, man, it was coming from this place of like, okay, this could be horrific. It could be sometimes crazy down here or whatever, but we it was designed in a way to understand itself, from the most beautiful to the most horrific.
To the
And
most
yes, we go
horrific. It has
through.
to negate. It negates itself. It's the negative space, right? By negating itself, by falling, by subtracting from it. It created the dot, the black dot, and then the black dot multiplies. So with the I just want to add on, Dooley. I don't want to cut your whiz and whatnot. What the Bufu showed me was the sentient light being is akin to the water in the quote unquote ocean. And when you have an ego death, it's almost akin to me taking a water bottle. Is there any water bottles? Taking a water bottle of Deer Park water. Deer Park is ego, right? The bottle is the ego. Deer Park is ego because that's the label that said that this water, this part of a body of water that has no name, it belongs to no bottle and whatnot. It has no volume to it. You gave it a name called Deer Park. Avion, that's the racist. That's the nationality. Oh, nah, I'm not Deer Park. I'm Avion. Oh, I'm not Avion. I'm I'm that good. I'm Fiji, nigga. I'm top water.
Right.
Oh, I'm Essenine or whatever that shit is, right? And we are all water. We're just water. We're just sentient light. We're part of a river of light, an omnipresent, omnipotent light. It was so powerful when I was tapped into that light, and it's not like a ring light either. It's a English can't describe what that light is because it's not a color, it's an energy, and it's all encompassing. There is nothing else but that. But Uncle Hank prepared me for the trip because he said channel love. Just think about love. The universe is comprised of love. Hate doesn't exist out of the realms of this planet right here. So the universe is created on love, because you don't hear people talk about, oh, I went into the universe and hate existed or fear. It's love. It's the energy of love and whatnot. So I was thinking love supreme, and I tapped into a sea of light and the power that I felt even with the ego death, because when I started realizing how powerful it felt, that's when ego started creeping back in.
Right.
And I was like, there's too much power.
Right. I mean, that's the whole thing is that you're preparing. Our ancient people were preparing for this death process, knowing that knowing that death is just being reborn into your true essence of who you really are. So it's what the beauty of this is, that what I get from this is that this wasn't meant for everyone. It was never meant for everyone. It doesn't matter what age we go through. It could be Kali Yuga or it could be the golden age. You're always, in Buddhism, they call it afflictive emotions. You're always going to have these people still dealing with these afflictive emotions, right? And that's part of the game that you sign up for when you come here. But there's a point where, yes, on a collective level, things are much more pristine. People are more telepathic. We have all these abilities. And then there's moments where things go haywire in other ages. But there always been these a selective few, because this wasn't always for everyone. And that's why I think people have to understand it. The thing that, oh, we all gonna wake up. No, it's an individual thing that it takes courage, first of all, to be able to say, I want to know myself, or want to know thyself. And when you go to that place, you realize that you're not even yourself anyway. So when you start to strip away all these things that you thought you were, it was an old story of this yogi that had self-realization, and he screamed at the point of his self-realization because he became the tree that he was sitting under. He became the wind that was blowing by. He became the butterfly that was, he became everything. And not everyone is ready to become God. You know what I mean? First and foremost. And when a person becomes that, there's no stopping you. All these things of war and these so-called powers to be that feed off of fear and all these things, those things don't touch you when you're at that place. And that's why, and there's many examples of people who made it there, and that's why I feel it's important to study, to know that there was those who made it. Like Uncle Hank talks about Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba a lot. or even Semiotoko from the Congo. And these were individuals, real live individuals,
super
that
sapiens,
super, you know what I mean? And they had all kinds of forces trying to get at them. Literally had assassins that had in their journals, yeah, we cut him up. Next thing you know, this dude reanimated. Because when you get to a place of self-mastery, there's nothing that can't touch you. That's why when I started doing this psychic surgery shit and started pulling cancer out of people, and like seeing, I worked on one woman, seeing a damn fucking tumor just dissolve out of nowhere. When I started getting deeper and deeper into this, I'm like, whoa, you could really manipulate this thing. But it's levels to it. And first is clearing away all the falseness within yourself, all the trauma, building up the life force, because the life force is key. Learning how to breathe is key. You know what I mean? Being able to have a flexible spine is key. Anytime I go in with the medicine, the first thing I do, my spine just start opening up and stuff, so the life force energy could flow through more correctly. But people are walking through. I mean, I can't blame some of these walking zombies, because you eating fake food, you dealing with fake water, you dealing with fake people, you dealing with fake everything. You know what I mean? We the last soldiers that had actually real food. You know, you can't walk through a store and not find any damn seedless grape seedless.
That's
damn,
a bygone era.
Watermelon and everything else. So you look at these new generations, they've been fed on fake food since day one.
Day one, plastic.
Yeah.
So it's a different time. And because it's a different time, I understand all the confusion that's going on. But it's not a time to throw in the towel. It's a time for people who are really trying their best in taking this serious to link up with others who are doing that. And like you said, Red, maybe that will inspire others, because that's how it always been. You know what I mean?
That's
Even
how
the
it
level,
been.
yeah, it always been like that. It always been people that, even when we deal with real secret societies, not that bullshit, but there've been secret societies in a place because, like I said, not everyone can handle that power. You know, when I first
Been
started
abused. We've
when I
seen it
first
in real
started
time.
getting into Qigong, there was so much trauma being released. There was days after class I would just be crying, bro, and not knowing why I was crying. But I knew there was things that were coming off of me, bro. You know what I mean? So everyone thinks, oh, this is gonna be love and light, and this is gonna be a walk in the park. No, it's not. It's hard work, and it takes dedication to be able to say, hey, I'm gonna turn my back on this whole shit and be able to walk a whole different path, a path of
Road less
love.
traveled, right?
The
The road
destruction
less
has to come
traveled.
first.
Right.
Yeah, man.
The destruction has to come first. Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, go on, sis. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my interest recently has been, not recently, but for the longest has been in acknowledging the womb bodies,
Yes.
and and you know, the womb bodies anchor this physical plane, like it anchors the physical plane. So you know, while my work has derived initially in sexuality, the sexuality piece is only so that we can understand the body in such a way where Bro Dooley is speaking to us, harnessing our chi, harnessing this energy. So when you start to understand what sexuality is, when you understand what body sex is, you start to move through a sensitivity and an intimacy with this vessel. This vessel is what we use to navigate this infinite. So
Yeah.
if you are have if so one, if you're holding shame, if you're concerned about sex trafficking, but you got an issue with your nipple, you know what I mean? The energetics of that mirror is going to sustain the sex trafficking, because you got an issue with your nipple, because you are judging, because you are so even when we see, okay, there's a conversation about Roe versus Wade, and we're talking about abortions and all these things, you know, even in that, when you understand what consent is, when you understand what consenting to matter realization is, your soul authority, when it says I'm concerned about this governance, then you give your soul authority over to another entity. And so you, if you your vessel, when you take time to understand these vessels, okay, and it's mwah, it's amazing masterpiece of work for real.
It is. It
So
is.
it's really hard to not be offended when I you know, when I hear I don't like my body, like what it does for us. And talk about unconditional love, it continues to serve you. But
Right.
besides that, if you want, I'll give you my personal example. I was moving through my portals, and it was an egoic portal that I went through that brought my womb into a heart shape, which as a heart shape, when you have a heart shaped womb, it is challenging for you to hold anything.
Right.
I sat with myself. I crawled out of what I created. I sat with my ritual without medicine because it's all of this is malleable. And I shifted. I went to doctor after doctor, and my womb, it's like it never existed. So when I'm speaking to sexuality, when I'm speaking to harnessing this energy of these bodies, even when I'm speaking to orgasm. Remember, orgasm shuts down your prefrontal cortex. When it shuts down your prefrontal cortex, just like the medicines,
Right.
you are shutting down your identity. When you
Right.
shut, just like Bufo, that's why
Right.
I became interested in Bufo, because of the likeness. So when you shut down your prefrontal cortex, the observer that you are no longer is observing just this physical plane, but it observes its infinite. When we observe our infinite, you are portaling to your 0 point, to your source. And then when you know how to travel with these vessels, you then can return back to another point in your infinite where you have better health, or that you have better relationship, because you've released, you've let go, because you've decided that I'm going to put this down. So when you're doing these medicines, yes, it is important to do your integration, but it is also important to, as Red has shared with us, you want to be able to enter the portal. Make sure you enter the portal in a certain mindset, because
Right.
your emotion is how you travel. So when you start to have attachment to your shame, understand that shame, if you release your human idea of what shame is, all shame is just a slower travel. That's all it is. Guilt is just holds it up. That's all it is. Anger is
It's
just
like ego.
fiery, and so it'll and so fi- and fire will burn up everything that it'll burn up everything that is not source. But if you continue that fire, it's going to break down these vessels.
Right.
And if you do not do your work, then these vessels have cellular self-destructs,
Right.
because we have to hold this pattern together. So if your vessel has now become in a place where it's so riddled with with the patterns that that you are giving away your soul authority, then you will take yourself out of the game. And in the same regard, if you are able to know how to cultivate this energy, you can reverse your aging process.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
So when we talk about, my mission here is, yes, to destroy, but yes, it is also to speak to these vessels. This is why I had to speak to intimate alchemy. And it's not always comfortable, because when we're talking about connecting, people expect a connection to be a certain kind of way.
Right.
But if you don't know how to move what's happening in these vessels, and you talk in the talk, but you're not feeling the walk,
Right.
feeling the walk, then you're not going to be able to move the sky, the weather,
Right.
everything.
Right.
So, love doesn't always have to look like what you see on TV.
Right. Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
So stop faking your orgasms, y'all.
Mm,
Start
right.
there. Start there.
Start there. Right, hold on.
To this day.
Hey.
To this day.
Hey.
It's lit. It's lit. It's hot. Hot.
Sway.
Hot.
Sway. Take a few steps back.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Yeah, stop faking them. You got the answers.
Oh man.
Before we go any further, let them know, everybody in the audience, is this being live streamed this weekend, or is it only you can only pull up and be here in the flesh?
There will be certain points that will be live streamed, but no, not everything.
All right, y'all.
Yep.
This is the link right here, Sacred Journey tickets.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, for the family in the surrounding areas of Atlanta, Georgia, you in Columbus, you in Macon, Rome, you know what I'm talking about? It don't matter where you at. You in Savannah, if you're in Florida, if you're in the Carolinas, any of those states, I highly recommend. If you're in New York, if you're in LA, if you're in Texas, I highly recommend that when you get off of this call, you go ahead and book your tickets and come down to Atlanta, Georgia. All right. You will get all of the information when you get your tickets. It'll be 4 days. It's going to be the sacred sacraments and journeys within mind, body, and spirit. Both of you, can you please break down into more detail as to what this week is going to be composed of?
Do you want me to do it, or you got it?
Well, I know part of what we're going to be doing is really giving people tools to bring back home, because that for me that's very important. Like, we have a lot of intellectualism, and you could go so far with that, with just, if that was the case, when we're reincarnated or whatever, or people come back here, you would know all that, you know what I mean? But we're talking about certain things that really sustain your soul, sustain your spirit. So
Yes.
we want people to be able to have actual practices that they can bring back home, that can really sustain them and be able to share with their family, their friends, what have you. So we're gonna be starting off the mornings with movement, sacred movement. So I'm gonna be showing people certain qigong exercises, Tai Chi exercises that I've learned over the years from different teachers, like even Dr. Wayne. You talked about anger. With various Qigong schools, we talk about the sacred sounds for various organs. So, the anger being associated with the liver, there's a certain sound for the liver, it's like, shh, like you telling your liver, like, shh, like chill out. And there's certain sounds and actual movements that go and repair these organs and stuff. So it's very true on the reversing the aging process on those levels. We're going to be doing sacred a mantra sound. We're going to be doing ecstatic dance. We're going to be teaching people about the certain sitting in ceremony with certain medicines. You know what I mean? And for me, what I'm most excited about is the non-touch orgasm through Nikki and Adara, because there's so much just so much that we have to work around sexuality,
Yes,
and because the so-called powers that be know how powerful sexual energy is, there's a level of purposely making it from a very perverted type of way. You know what I mean?
It's a prison right now.
Yes,
It's a box.
Yes. So when we approach it in a manner that we can literally heal ourselves with and expand our consciousness and our spirituality thing with it, that's a game changer. I seen the rapper, what's his name? Kevin Gates or whatever.
Gates,
he was talking about the brothers talking about holding in their semen retention and stuff.
Right.
And the dudes were laughing at him, like, what are you talking about? It's like, that's like you go into the gun range and not shooting off, you know what I mean? So it was like, it, you know, there's so much, like, even when these comments, they become adolescent, you know, automatically you're going back into middle school. But that shows you how far advanced this brother is, because when we start to understand, even as a man, being able to hold that energy in and bringing up them chakras and stuff like that, you're gonna be, you're not gonna be coming from the bedroom drain. You're gonna be like, yo, let's go another round, another round,
Right.
another round.
Charged up.
You know what I
Right.
mean? We charged up, we go all night. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because you have, let's face it, you have a lot of women out there that are not even sexually being pleased. You know what I mean? They
Right.
just, you know, they going in, boom, 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 and that's it. And not knowing how to even make love. You know what I mean? So
Right.
this is an important conversation. And for these sisters to educate us on the level of using that orgasmic energy as a tool to release trauma, you know what I mean, to release the pain and all these other things. These, we're just giving people different tools, you know what I mean, and in ways that each people that are going to be at this retreat, each of these teachers, they're very relatable. None of these people that are on at this retreat are coming off holier than thou. They're very relatable, very approachable, and we're speaking in a language that your common people can understand. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
It's very important, you know. So we got, of course, Nikki Morgan that's gonna no, excuse me, Nikki Monty that's gonna be coming in with the sound sonic therapy, and she's a beast. Like, yo, she's like,
Beast.
yo, to sit in her presence with these humongous gongs, she's going to, like, if anything is out of whack, it's gonna be realigned
With the sound
with
medicine.
that sound. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
you're gonna be coming home different, you know, and that's a beautiful thing, man, because you know, you want to be your best, man, you know, so you could be able to be aligned and do what you got to do on this planet, man, you know.
The website again?
bit.ly/sacred journey tickets.
You know, got
Put that in
Chief
the chat for
Nighthawk.
you.
Chief Nighthawk's gonna be there. He's a good brother out of Atlanta. He works a lot with Mama Aya. He's gonna be doing working with a combo. I'm a combo practitioner as well. They call that the vaccination of the jungle. These are different things that are going to help you along the lines when you talk about these nanobots and all these other things they trying to throw at you. We got ancient medicine right from Mama Earth, from Gaia, that can deal with these things. And these things, when you, for instance, even the combo, when you deal with that, man, it's an experience. It's like it's going in and attacking anything that doesn't supposed to be in your body. You would literally feel the parasites crawling out your skin, coming out your eyes, out your tongue. Bro, you go into the bathroom, you seeing parasites coming out of your stool. Like, it's intense, but you feel super clean afterwards. And combo also is good for breaking hexes. So, you know, if it's somebody's trying to throw something at you from afar, you know what I mean? In the jungle, they call it panema, you know, dark energy. So, you know, there's always been that type of jealousy stuff. You know, that stuff ain't nothing new. You know, you in the jungle, they would bang on each other. You know what I mean? So
In the forest, in places where there's ice, you know what I mean? It's in all environments.
Right. Ain't nothing new. You know what I mean?
Ain't
But
nothing
the
new.
beautiful thing is that we have different tools to deal with these things. You know what I mean? So even after a combo or frog session, a detox session, you feel like somebody had literally like a brush and scrubbed you down from head to toe inside of yourself. And you just feel super clean, amazing clarity, you know?
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Leave us with some words of wisdom, my good sister Nikki. You know, because I look forward to being there, and I look forward to seeing people from this network, from this audience in the building, so we could, you know, really be on purpose. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, what they have to offer this week is something that, you know, I wish we spend more time talking about this. I wish we spent more time promoting this and things of that nature, because at the end of the day, I really know I don't know what everybody needs. I know what I need. I'm gonna speak for myself. I know what I need right now, and what I need right now is what they have to offer. So if you may just give us some words of wisdom, and yeah, we're gonna tap out. God, this was a powerful show tonight. What I don't want to do is I don't want to flood everybody with the information. I think this is a lot to take in and to download and to meditate on. So yes, please leave them with some words.
So it is expected and normal for you to feel confused uh, or disoriented as we're moving through this. And so when and if that is the case, there are 4 things that I remind everyone of. One is that you are infinite and everything already exists. 2, observation is consent to matter. 3, all that is observed is the essence of I am. And 4, be aware of the value source of the choices that you make.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's real.
Beautiful. Yes.
All right, Nikki, check you out.
Look at you. Look at you. You know what I'm talking about? You want that venom? Yeah, pull up. You know what I'm saying? Pull up, there's certain conversations that we'll have through telepathic channels and whatnot. We don't want to be too vocal about what we have to offer, because we don't have to. It should speak for itself. I want y'all to be very. I want the people who are in the audience to just close your eyes and let spirit tell you what it is that you have to, what we have to offer, and what'll be delivered. This is also going to be this weekend coming up is the Malcolm X Fest. So that's going to charge a lot of people up. They're going to get a lot of energy. And, I would highly recommend that we hold that charge into the 24th, and then let it bring us into the 24th to the 28th, and then even double that charge through our ritual, through our cleansing, our purging and whatnot, our realignment. And that is a way to ride a magical wave. And then on the 28th, right, if y'all really want to do a full ritual, because this is about being in alignment, we're going to have on the 28th, on Saturday at 11 a.m., we're going to have a high level class, a high level conversation with Al-Kibalan 44 on KTLUniversity.com, prophetic remedies and celestial divinity. And if anybody knows the magical work that this brother has been demonstrating on social media, he's been putting numbers and colors out there to show in real time how tapped in he is and whatnot. So he's going to be giving us the some of the tips, some of the quote unquote modalities, and some of the formulas that we can utilize. This is our 3rd class together. We've been building up our student body with this information. So yeah, man, we doing what we need to do. We perfectly on time. We're all in alignment. And by being in alignment, we're going to be able to open up these portals. And by being able to open up these portals, and if just 10 of us, or if 5 or 4 of us turn on, that is vicariously going to turn hundreds and then thousands on. So know that you have many people watching you, learning from you, rooting for you, you know what I'm talking about, and transforming along with you. That's one of the good things about what social media and people living vicariously through others has allowed as well. That you'll fall with the people that you're attached to, but you could also rise with them, right? And they'll give you a boost of confidence, and they'll give you that spark that you need, and they'll even be able to change people's routes from the directions that they were going in when they see the people who they learn to love by trusting in them take off. That makes them want to take off as well. I'm going to read the description to this upcoming class that we have for anybody, for the family that just may have gotten here and whatnot. And before we close out. All right. So the description for prophetic remedies and celestial divinity, which is on the tickets, are on the description, in the description right there in this video, lower in the description box. And you can also buy it on ktluuniversity.com. The ancestors impede on the minds of those fit to receive a message, right? I'm going to repeat that again. The ancestors impede on the minds of those fit to receive a message. It's almost like being mounted. The mind is the magnetic field that processes the revelation, and the receiver delivers it as a prophecy. That's a prophetic experience. The prophets of today remain fit by adherence to the laws of the celestial world and the inner world, right? That's what we'll be exploring from the 24th to the 28th. We're going to explore the mechanics of the physical body, so we naturally adhere to the celestial bodies. This will deem us fit to receive the inevitable prophecies. So what the brother Al-Kibalan will be delivering and through the realm of intellectual dissertation, we're actually going to be preparing for it for 4 days with this powerful group amongst us. So I'm ready, I'm willing and able, I'm excited, I'm enthusiastic, I'm grateful that y'all are right on time. You know, even when this date got changed from last month and we talked about it, I was like, it's gonna come right on time. And sure enough, it's here at the right time and perfectly in alignment and whatnot. Right after this Scorpio blood moon, I really see things a lot clearer than I was seeing it before, especially because of the influence of the Scorpio. So with that being said, make sure y'all hit the Cash App and show some love. You know, this has been a powerful show. You know, we you know what I'm saying? This is independent, melanated cosmic media, right? We do this for the people. We don't do it for anybody else. These broadcasts and whatnot are for the people, by the people. So yes, show love to the Cash App, Phil Moreland. And if you're in Atlanta, I'll see you at the Malcolm X Fest this weekend, KTL University, for the tickets. Once again, let me put the website for the tickets for this beautiful event, sacredjourneytickets.com, and the price is definitely affordable. Sacredjourney.com, bit.ly/sacredjourneytickets.com. All right. Is there a number or anything that you have as well? Anybody?
Yes, they can. If they want, they can call 32. Or excuse me, they can text 323. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me get that off my memory.
I got you.
Pardon. Let me make sure I get the number right for you.
Show some respect to the like button. You feel me? Show some respect to the like button. And yes, I'll be introducing y'all to more people, more dynamic teachers, more dynamic movers and shakers. You know, I'll do my job, you do yours. You know what I mean? Let's work together. You know what I'm saying? This could be a beautiful friendship.
That number is 323-552-9550.
9550. There you go. All right, I'll put that there. Boom. Please, y'all, use that number for what it's supposed to be used for. Don't let us get any feedback about any abuse of this number whatsoever, because we are fully operating through the penalty system along with the value system and the quote unquote the value system, the trust system, and the penalty system. So don't let us block you. Don't let us call you out. Don't let us have to do anything to make you, feel like you stepped over the line. You know what I mean? We want to be respectful over here.
Right.
So with that being said, yes, indeed. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you
for the light that y'all brought to the family. Y'all will be back. We will continue this. I even shared with Dooley that I would love to do a workshop with you on this to my KTLEN students through KTLUniversity.com. So we'll talk about that when I see y'all in the flesh. Okay.
Right.
No
Yes,
doubt.
indeed.
Yes. So
Peace,
yeah.
y'all.
All right.
Peace and
Peace,
love,
y'all.
y'all. And
Peace.
no doubt.
Gratitude.
Peace. Yes. Peace.